My name is Olivia Grant, and this is the story of how my father traded his only daughter for a new life, a new wife, and a new set of rules that didn't include me. It ended, not with a dramatic confrontation or a tearful reunion, but with one simple word when he needed me most: no. I was 12 when it started. Summer 2008. Dad, James Grant, had been a single father since Mom died of breast cancer when I was 5. He worked construction, came home smelling like sawdust and sweat, made mac and cheese from a box every Tuesday, and never missed a single one of my soccer games. We lived in a small ranch house in suburban Denver, Colorado. Just the two of us. He called me Livybug. I called him Daddy-O. We were a team. Then he met Karen. She was 38, divorced, no kids, worked as a real estate agent. Blonde hair always perfect, nails always manicured, voice always sweet in public. They met at a charity golf tournament Dad's company sponsored. Within 3 months, he was spending weekends at her condo downtown. Within 6, he proposed. Within 9, they were married in a small ceremony at a mountain lodge. Me in a lavender dress I hated, standing alone while they said vows that didn't mention family we already have. I remember the reception. Karen's friends cooing over how brave she was to take on a stepdaughter. Dad beaming like he'd won the lottery. Me sitting at the kids' table. There were no other kids. Picking at cake, wondering why the word step felt like a downgrade. The changes came fast. First, we moved. Dad sold our house, said it was too small for a growing family. We moved into Karen's bigger place in a gated community 40 minutes away. My bedroom became the guest room with floral curtains I didn't pick. My soccer team was too far. Dad said it was impractical. He enrolled me in a private school closer to the new house. I hated it. No friends, no field. Just uniforms and kids who called me the new girl with the dead mom. Karen didn't like reminders of the past. She redecorated. Mom's photos disappeared from shelves. My baby pictures with Dad got moved to a box in the garage. When I asked why, Karen smiled that tight smile and said, "We're starting fresh, sweetie. No need to live in yesterday." Dad backed her every time. "Karen's right, Liv. Let's make new memories." New memories didn't include me much. By 14, I was mostly invisible. Dad worked longer hours to afford the lifestyle Karen wanted. New cars, vacations to Cabo, designer bags. When he was home, it was Karen time. Dinners out, date nights, couples therapy because blending families is hard. I ate alone in my room with homework and reruns. High school years were worse. Karen decided I was difficult, too quiet, too attached to old habits. She suggested therapy for me. Dad agreed. The therapist was nice, but every session ended with, "Olivia needs to accept the new family structure." I stopped going after 6 months. Dad didn't notice. Prom. I asked Dad to take pictures. He said yes, then forgot. Karen had booked a spa day. I went with friends, posted photos online. He liked them 2 days later with a heart emoji. No apology. Graduation 2014. I was valedictorian. Gave a speech about resilience and choosing your own path. Dad and Karen sat in the 3rd row. After he hugged me, said, "Proud of you, kiddo." Karen handed me a card with $100 and a note. "To new beginnings." I kept the cash, threw the card away. College, full ride to CU Boulder, close enough to visit, far enough to breathe. I majored in journalism, minored in photography, made real friends, dated, traveled. Built a life that didn't revolve around waiting for Dad to remember I existed. I invited him to freshman family weekend. He said work was busy. Sophomore parents' weekend. Same excuse. Junior year, I stopped inviting. Senior year, 2018, I met Ryan. Kind, funny, steady. Engineering major. We fell in love slowly, the way it's supposed to happen. After graduation, he proposed on a hike in Rocky Mountain National Park, the same park Dad used to take me to as a kid. I said yes. Wedding planning started. Small, intimate, backyard ceremony at Ryan's parents' house in Fort Collins. 60 guests max. I sent the save the date to Dad 6 months out. No response. 3 months before the wedding, I called. Dad, did you get the invite? Long pause. Yeah, Liv. We got it. We? Karen and I, look. It's the same weekend as her cousin's renewal in Maui. Non-refundable tickets. I'm sorry. I swallowed the lump in my throat. It's my wedding, Dad. I know. But family obligations. You understand? No, I didn't. I hung up, cried for an hour. Ryan held me, said, "He's choosing her. Again. That's on him, not you." The wedding was beautiful. Ryan's family filled every empty chair with love. My college friends, old soccer teammates, even my high school guidance counselor came. Dad sent a check for $2,000 and a generic card. Wishing you happiness. No call, no video, nothing. I framed the check, cashed it, bought a new lens for my camera. Never thanked him. That was 2019. The next 15 years? Silence. I didn't call on birthdays. He didn't call on mine. Christmas cards stopped after 2020. Karen posted family photos on Facebook. Her with Dad at galas, cruises, holidays with her nieces and nephews. She'd adopted them as her kids. I was never tagged, never mentioned. I built my life. Ryan and I bought a house in Boulder, 2 dogs. I became a freelance photojournalist, covered wildfires, protests, small-town stories. Published in National Geographic once. Ryan got a job at a renewable energy firm. We traveled. Japan, Iceland, New Zealand. No kids by choice. We were enough. Dad retired early in 2028. Good pension from the union, plus Karen's real estate money. They moved to Scottsdale, Arizona. Golf community, pool, views. I found out from a random cousin's post. I didn't reach out. Then came 2034. I was 38. Ryan and I had just returned from a month in Patagonia. My phone rang. Unknown Arizona number. I almost ignored it. Something made me answer. Livy? Dad's voice. Older. Weaker. Dad? He coughed. Long, wet cough. It's cancer. Stage 4. Lungs. Doctors say months. Maybe less. Silence stretched. I know I don't deserve this, but I'd like to see you before, you know. I looked at Ryan across the kitchen. He nodded once. Your call. I took a breath. No. 1 word. Simple. Final. He started crying. Livy, please. I messed up. I know I chose wrong. Karen. She pushed, but I let her. I was weak. I want to make it right. You had 15 years to make it right. I said quietly. You ignored my wedding. You erased Mom. You erased me. You don't get a deathbed redemption just because you're scared. I'm dying, Olivia. I know, and I'm sorry you're in pain, but I'm not the one who can fix it. I hung up, blocked the number, cried. Not for the man who left, but for the little girl who waited decades for him to come back. Ryan held me. That night I pulled out the old box from the garage, the one Karen had packed away. Baby pictures, Mom and Dad laughing, me on Dad's shoulders at the park. I scanned them all, made a private album, shared it with Ryan. No tears for the man on the phone. Just quiet closure for the girl I used to be. The first 48 hours were numb. I stared at my phone like it might ring again. It didn't. Ryan took it away gently, put it on silent in another room. "You don't have to carry this alone," he said. "But you also don't have to carry it at all." I tried to go back to normal, edited photos from our Patagonia trip, answered work emails, walked the dogs. But every quiet moment brought the echo of Dad's voice. "I'm dying, Olivia." Guilt crept in like fog, slow, thick, suffocating. What if he really had only months? What if this was the last chance to hear an apology that mattered? What if I regretted the no forever? Ryan saw it on my face. "You're allowed to feel conflicted. That doesn't mean you have to change your mind." I booked an emergency session with my therapist, Dr. Elena Marquez, who'd been with me since college. Virtual call the next day. I told her everything. The call, the block, the tears. She listened. Then, "Olivia, you spent 15 years grieving a father who was still alive. This isn't abandonment. This is protecting the peace you fought to build. Regret isn't proof you were wrong. It's proof you're human. The question is, would seeing him heal anything or just reopen the wound?" I didn't have an answer. Not yet. 3 days later, the first flying monkey arrived. Karen. She called from an unknown number. I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity and a flicker of anger won. "Olivia, it's Karen." Her voice was softer than I remembered, less polished, more tired. "I know James called you. He's not doing well. The doctors say 6 months at best. Chemo isn't working. He's asking for you every day." I stayed silent. "He knows he failed you. He talks about it constantly. How he let me push you away. How he regrets the wedding. He cries at night. He wants to say sorry in person. Please, Olivia. For him, for closure." I laughed, a bitter, short sound. "Closure. He had 15 years for closure. He chose golf trips and Cabo over my wedding. He chose your fresh start over my childhood. Now he's scared of dying alone, so suddenly I matter." Karen sighed. "I know I played a part. I was jealous of the bond you two had. I wanted him all to myself. I was wrong. But he's the one dying, not me. Don't punish him for my mistakes." "Don't rewrite history," I said. "You didn't just play a part. You directed the whole show. And Dad handed you the script. This isn't punishment. This is consequence." She started crying. "He's in pain. Morphine barely touches it. He keeps your baby pictures by the bed, the ones I made him pack away. He looks at them and whispers, 'Livy bug, please?'" I felt the crack in my armor. The old nickname hit like a punch. But I remembered the lavender dress, the empty chair at prom, the $2,000 check instead of a father at my wedding. "No," I said again. "Tell him I hope the pain ends soon. But I'm not coming." I hung up. Block that number too. Ryan found me on the couch afterward, knees to chest. "You okay?" "No, but I'm still sure." That night I dreamed of Dad, the old Dad, the one who carried me on his shoulders through the park, who taught me to ride a bike, who held me when Mom died and promised, "It's just us now, kiddo. We've got this." I woke up sobbing. The guilt wave crested. For a week I researched flights to Scottsdale, looked at hospice info, imagined walking into the room, holding his hand, hearing, "I'm sorry," one last time. Ryan didn't push, just asked, "If you go, what do you hope to get out of it?" I thought. To stop feeling like the bad guy. "And if you don't get that? If he blames you, or Karen manipulates the moment, or he dies angry?" I shivered. Then I lose twice. We talked for hours. I journaled. I called my best friend from college, Mia, who'd known me since the move-in drama. Mia was blunt. "Liv, he abandoned you emotionally when you were 12. You rebuilt without him. Don't tear it down because he's scared. Death doesn't erase 15 years of absence. It just makes people sentimental. Her words anchored me. I deleted the flight searches. Instead, I pulled out the scanned photos from the old box. Made a private digital album titled Before. Mom laughing, Dad and me at the zoo. Us three on Christmas morning. I looked at them every night. Not to grieve him, but to honor the family that existed before Karen. To remind myself I hadn't been erased completely. Work saved me. A big assignment came in. Photo essay on wildfire recovery in Colorado. I threw myself into it. Drove to burn scars, interviewed survivors, captured resilience in ash and green shoots. Every image felt like a metaphor for my own life. Destruction, then regrowth on my own terms. 2 months after the call, December 2034, another call came. This time from a Scottsdale hospital number. I let it go to voicemail. The message was from a nurse. Ms. Grant, your father asked us to reach out. He's in palliative care now. He'd like you to know he loves you. He's sorry. If you want to call back, we can connect you. I listened 3 times, then deleted it. Ryan asked if I wanted to call. I shook my head. Not yet. Maybe never. But the almost break happened that Christmas. We hosted friends, small gathering, mulled wine, lights on the tree, everyone laughing. I excused myself to the kitchen, stared at the fridge where I'd pinned an old photo of Dad and me from 2007. Me gap-toothed, him ruffling my hair. Tears came hard. I picked up my phone, dialed the hospital number from memory. It rang twice. A woman answered. Not the nurse. Karen. Olivia? I froze. She sounded exhausted. He's not conscious much anymore, but he wakes sometimes. Calls for you. I can put the phone to his ear if you want to say something. I closed my eyes. The room spun. Ryan appeared in the doorway, saw my face, came over, took my hand. I whispered to the phone. Dad, if you can hear me, I forgive the man you used to be, but I can't forgive what you became. I hope you find peace. Goodbye. I hung up. Karen didn't call back. That was the closest I came to breaking. I didn't go. January 2035. The email came from a lawyer. Subject, James Grant, Estate Matters. Dad had died December 28th, 2034. Quietly, in his sleep. The email included a short handwritten letter, scanned. Livy Bug, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I don't blame you for not coming. I earned that silence. I was a coward. I let Karen fill the space your mother left, and I pushed you out to make room. I told myself it was for a new family. But you were my family first, always. I kept every photo, watched your career from afar. Your Nat Geo piece made me cry proud tears. I wanted to call 1,000 times. Never did. The house in Scottsdale goes to Karen. But there's a trust for you. $250,000. No strings. Use it for whatever you want. Or burn the check. Your choice. I love you. I'm sorry, Dad. I read it sitting on the floor of our office. Ryan sat beside me. I cried. For the father in the letter, for the one I lost at 12, for the closure that came too late. Then I forwarded the lawyer's contact to Ryan. Handle the trust. Donate half to breast cancer research, for Mom. The rest, maybe a scholarship for kids from single-parent homes. He nodded. And the letter? I folded it carefully, put it in the Before album. I'll keep it, but I won't reread it every day. February 2035. Karen sent one last email. Olivia, he went peacefully. He talked about you until the end. I'm sorry. For everything. If you ever want to talk. I didn't reply. Blocked her. The guilt wave still came sometimes. Anniversaries, quiet nights. But they were smaller. Manageable. I kept living, kept photographing, kept loving Ryan, kept choosing the family I built. Because the man who chose his new wife over me for 15 years, he didn't get to choose how my story ended, I did. The next few years blurred into peaceful routine. 2035 to 2038. Olivia threw herself deeper into her work. The wildfire recovery photo essay won a regional award. She exhibited it at a small gallery in Boulder. Ryan got promoted, lead engineer on solar projects across the West. They renovated their house, added a dark room for her prints, a home gym, a garden where they planted wildflowers, for Mom. Therapy continued monthly. Dr. Marquez helped her name what she felt. Ambiguous loss, grieving a father who died twice. Once when he chose Karen, once when he actually left. Olivia learned to sit with the anger without letting it define her. She started a private journal titled Letters I Never Sent. Pages of unsaid words to Dad, to Karen, to her younger self. Burning one page each year on his birthday became a small ritual. Release, not rage. She reconnected with distant cousins on Mom's side, people she'd lost touch with after the move. Video calls with aunts who remembered her as a baby, shared stories of Mom's laugh, her love for hiking. It filled gaps Dad had left empty. No big drama, no surprise visits from Karen, just life moving forward. 2039. Olivia turned 43. Ryan surprised her with a week in Iceland. Northern lights, black sand beaches, quiet nights in a cabin. They talked about the future. Maybe fostering a dog long-term. Maybe mentoring young photographers. No kids. Never wanted them. Their family was complete. One night under the aurora, Olivia said quietly, "I don't regret saying no, but sometimes I wonder if he died thinking I hated him." Ryan squeezed her hand. "He died knowing he failed you. That's different from hate. And he had the chance to fix it. He didn't take it until the end. That's on him." She nodded. The northern lights danced green and purple. She felt lighter than she had in decades. 2040 to 2042. The ripples faded almost completely. Olivia published a book, Shadows and Light, a photojournalist's journey through loss and renewal. It included some of the before photos, anonymized. A chapter on chosen family. It sold modestly but touched people. Reviews called it raw, redemptive. She did a few podcasts, talked about boundaries, grief, walking away from toxic parents. Never named Dad or Karen, just the truth. Ryan's parents retired to Arizona, ironically, same state as Scottsdale. They visited often, treated Olivia like the daughter they always wanted. Holidays were loud, warm, full. Karen never reached out again. A cousin mentioned in passing that she'd sold the house, moved to Florida with a new partner. Olivia felt nothing. No anger, no curiosity. Just neutral. 2043. A small package arrived. No return address. Inside, a single photo from 2007. Olivia, age 11, on Dad's shoulders at the park, both laughing. On the back, in his handwriting, "Livy Bug, my first and always love. I'm sorry I forgot." No note, no apology from Karen, just the photo. Olivia stared at it a long time, then added it to the before album. Last page. She didn't cry. She smiled, small and sad, then closed the book. That night she texted Ryan, "I think I'm finally done grieving him." His reply, "You've been done for a while. You just let yourself admit it." She laughed softly. The story wasn't about revenge or dramatic forgiveness. It was about a daughter who said no when the world expected yes. And in that no, she found yes. For herself, for Ryan, for the life she built, without waiting for a father who never showed up. Peace wasn't loud. It was quiet. And it was hers. The years from 2044 to 2055 unfolded gently, like pages in a well-loved book. Olivia's photography career evolved into something deeper. In 2045, she launched a non-profit initiative, Through Their Eyes, workshops teaching photography to teens from single-parent or unstable homes. She funded it partly with the remaining trust money from Dad, partly from book royalties and speaking fees. The program grew, first in Colorado, then online sessions reaching kids nationwide. She mentored dozens personally, a 15-year-old girl who documented her mom's battle with addiction, a boy who captured his dad's construction sites after losing him young. Every time a student said, "This camera makes me feel seen," Olivia felt a quiet echo of the little girl she used to be, finally giving back what she'd lost. Ryan retired early at 55 in 2050. They sold the Boulder house, bought a small cabin in the foothills, views of the Rockies, space for a darkroom and his workshop. They adopted 2 more dogs, a rescue mutt named Aspen and a golden named Summit. Life slowed, long hikes, reading by the fire, weekend visits from friends. No children, no regrets. Just 2 people who'd chosen each other every day. The scholarship fund Dad left grew. By 2052, it had awarded over $100,000 to kids pursuing creative degrees: journalism, art, photography. Olivia never attached his name to it publicly. It was anonymous, a silent amends she made on his behalf, not for forgiveness, but because it felt right. Karen died in 2054, heart attack, quick and alone, in her Florida condo. Olivia found out through a distant cousin's message. She felt a brief pang, not grief, just the faint ache of finality. She sent flowers to the service, no card, no attendance, closure without ceremony. 2055, Olivia turned 58. A documentary crew reached out, small indie project on chosen families and boundaries. They'd read her book, seen her TEDx talk on ambiguous loss. She agreed to be interviewed, on condition. No names, no specifics about Dad or Karen, just the emotional arc. The interview happened at the cabin. Sunlight through pine trees, dogs at her feet, Ryan off camera sipping coffee. The director asked, "Looking back, do you regret saying no when your father was dying?" Olivia paused, looked out the window at the mountains. "No. Regret would mean I think I should have gone back into a space that hurt me for decades. I forgave the man he was before Karen, the one who loved me first. But the man who chose her over me for 15 years, that man didn't earn my presence at his end. Saying no wasn't cruelty. It was honesty. It was protecting the life I built when he wouldn't help build it with me." She smiled softly. "And honestly, the peace I have now, the mornings with Ryan, the kids I mentor, the photos I take, none of that would feel as real if I'd compromised it for a deathbed moment that might have been empty anyway." The documentary aired in 2056. It won a small festival award. Messages poured in from strangers. "Thank you for saying what I couldn't. Your story gave me permission to walk away." Olivia read them, then closed her laptop. She didn't need validation anymore. She had it inside. 2060. Olivia was 63, Ryan 65. They celebrated their 40th anniversary with a quiet trip back to Rocky Mountain National Park, the same trail where he'd proposed. They sat on a boulder overlooking a lake holding hands. Ryan said, "You know, I never worried you'd change your mind about going to see him. I worried you'd punish yourself for not going." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "I did for a while. But then I realized the little girl who waited for her dad to choose her. She got her answer eventually, not from him, From me. I chose her. Every day since. They watched the sun set over the peaks. Gold, pink, purple. No words needed. Back home, Olivia opened the Before album one last time. Flipped through the pages. Mom, Dad, young Olivia. She lingered on the final photo, the one that arrived alone. Then she closed it, tied a ribbon around the book, and placed it on the highest shelf. Not hidden. Just archived. She didn't need to look at it anymore. The past was there when she wanted it. But her present, her future, was downstairs. Ryan cooking dinner, dogs waiting for walks, emails from mentees saying, "I got into art school because of your workshop." She walked down the stairs, smiled at her husband, and said the same thing she'd said every evening for decades. "I'm home." And she was, truly. Her hair had silvered completely, worn in loose waves she no longer bothered to dye. Ryan, now 70, moved slower but still hiked with her every morning. Short trails now, with walking sticks and frequent pauses to watch birds. The dogs had come and gone. Aspen and Summit were buried under a pine tree in the yard, small stones marking their places. They adopted no more, too hard to say goodbye. But the house still felt full of echoes. Through Their Eyes had become a national model. Olivia stepped back from daily operations at 65, handing leadership to a former mentee who'd become her protégé. Maya, a 32-year-old photographer who'd grown up in foster care and found her voice through Olivia's workshops. Maya called her Mama O on calls, half joke, half truth. Olivia smiled every time. One spring afternoon in 2065, Maya drove up to the cabin unannounced. She brought coffee, fresh pastries, and a thick folder. "I need your eyes on something," Maya said, spreading photos across the kitchen table. A new program, teaching kids in hospice families to document their last months with loved ones. Not morbid, healing. They capture memories before they fade. Olivia flipped through the sample images. A teenage boy photographing his dying grandfather's hands. A girl capturing her mom's laugh lines in sunlight. Her throat tightened. Maya watched her. "I want to name it after you. The Olivia Grant Memory Project. But only if you say yes." Olivia set the photos down. "Why me?" "Because you taught me, and every kid who's come through, that saying no to what hurts you isn't selfish. It's survival. And then saying yes to what heals you? That's legacy." Olivia looked out the window at the mountains, same peaks she'd hiked with Ryan decades ago. Same ones Dad used to take her to as a child. She thought of the little girl in lavender at the wedding reception, waiting for a father who never came. Thought of the woman who answered no on a phone call in 2034. Thought of the peace that followed. Not instant, but earned. "Yes," she said quietly. "Name it after me. But tell the kids the truth. Sometimes the strongest memory you keep is the one where you chose yourself." Maya hugged her. "They already know. You taught them." 2070. Olivia was 73. Ryan passed peacefully in his sleep. Heart failure, quick and kind. No long illness, no suffering. She found him in the morning, hands still warm. She sat with him for hours before calling anyone. Whispered thanks for every year, every laugh, every quiet, "I'm home." The funeral was small. Friends, mentees, Maya and her family. Olivia spoke briefly. "He never asked me to change. He just loved who I was. That's the rarest gift." She scattered his ashes in Rocky Mountain National Park, on the trail where he proposed. No tears at the scattering, just gratitude. She lived alone in the cabin after that, not lonely, surrounded by memories, dogs' ghosts, Ryan's tools still in the workshop. Maya visited often, brought her grandkids sometimes. Olivia taught them how to hold a camera, how to see light in shadows, 2075. Olivia turned 78. Her health was steady. Arthritis in the hands, slower steps. But her mind sharp. She rarely left the cabin now, but the world came to her. Video calls from scholarship winners, letters from kids whose photos hung in galleries, Maya sending updates on the Memory Project, now in 40 states. One winter evening, snow falling thick outside, she opened the Before album for the first time in years. Flipped through slowly. Mom's smile, Dad lifting her on his shoulders. The final photo, laughing in the park. She lingered on that last one. Then she spoke aloud, to the empty room. I forgave you, Daddy-O. Not for you, for me. So I could keep the good parts and let the rest go. She closed the album, tied the ribbon tighter, carried it to the fireplace, not to burn, just to hold near the warmth. She sat in Ryan's old chair, wrapped in his flannel shirt, and watched the snow. No regrets, no what-ifs, just peace. The kind that comes when you say no to what breaks you, and yes to what mends you. And in the quiet, she heard the little girl inside whisper back, "Thank you for choosing me." Olivia smiled. "I always did.